Hi, I want to talk about 10 homeschooling lies that I have believed at some point or another. My name is Nancy Marie Peterson, and I've been homeschooling for about 20, going on our 20th year. And I've also been a mom for almost 30, and I just want to share some of the truths that I've learned along the way. So let's talk about 10 lies, flat out lies, that I have heard or have thought throughout my 20 years of homeschooling. So the first one is that not everyone can homeschool. That is a lie. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, well, if I had good kids like yours, then I would homeschool. Or I've heard them say, well, if I had the patience, then I would totally homeschool. If I had a different temperament or whatever. And the truth is, any mother can homeschooling. Yes, it takes patience. Yes, it takes training your kids to be those good kids, but it comes through hard work and ethics and teaching them character training and all of that. So any mother can homeschool. Do not believe the lie that only certain moms can homeschool. The second lie that I've heard, or I actually thought this, was that homeschool kids are weird. Now, the truth is, some homeschool kids are weird, but some public school kids are weird. Some kids who go to Christian school are weird. Kids are weird. Families are weird. The truth is, you're going to be whoever your family dynamics kind of leans you into. So you're always going to have those different kids or weird kids, but they're in every educational avenue. So to think that they're only in the homeschooling world that's a flat out lie. This third lie is something that I have battled with for a very long time, and it took me a lot of years when I was first starting out homeschooling to really find the truth that the lie is that there is a perfect curriculum. That is a lie. There is no such thing as a perfect curriculum. There are good curriculums that are better for your family. There are strong curriculums, but the truth is that there isn't a perfect one curriculum. So if you're searching and you're looking for the perfect one, just find one that works for your family. I had to look for our family and our season, and there were times that I would have somebody say to me, oh, I'm using this curriculum and now they're scoring really good, and so then I would jump on that bandwagon, or I would hear someone say something about this and then I would think, oh, that's their curriculum, so I would chase after that curriculum. Stop chasing after curriculums. Find one that fits well with your family, stay consistent with it, and you will be better off in the long run. So that's lie number 3. Lie number 4 is that you have to learn Latin. You do not have to learn Latin. I know there's a movement that really pushes the Latin, and there's lots of different ones that show the value of Latin. I don't think Latin's wrong, but it isn't the only way to homeschool. There are different ways that your child will bring in their information, and Latin is just one road. So if you do not teach Latin, it's okay. I did not teach Latin, not that I'm against it, but I didn't teach it, and my kids have done just fine. They've graduated with honors, they've gone on to get their masters. It's going to be fine. So if you're thinking and you're hearing this, it's a lie. It is not the only thing. You don't have to teach Latin. The thought that you have to teach Latin is a lie. Can you teach Latin? Yes. Do you have to? No. All right. Lie number 5 is that only skirt wearing, family matching, bread making families attend homeschool conferences, and that's just not true. I used to go to homeschool conferences quite a bit at the beginning of our journey, and they were so valuable. They really helped me as a mom to really find some like-minded people, to gain some insight, to physically look at the curriculum. So I think the more you go to the homeschool fairs and the homeschool co-ops and the homeschool, you find yourself in that culture, you will see a variety of different families. I think it used to be kind of one way. They were matching, and I used to match my kids too. Not long skirt matching, but like cute little clothes matching for Easter. But you will still see those, but it has become such a movement, especially since COVID, that you see a lot more variety out there. The 6th lie is that homeschool kids must do a co-op. You do not have to do a co-op. Can you? Yes. We did a homeschool PE program at our local YMCA for quite a few years. It was great. They learned how to swim. I met some other moms, but it didn't fit our family all the time. And so we really had to step back and find what works with our family. And so if you have multiple kids, homeschool co-ops might not be what's best to be gone, and a lot of them do it every Friday, and so you only have 4 teaching days. If that doesn't work for your flow of the family, don't do it. It is not a have to. So the lie that every family, homeschool family, must do a co-op if they want to be successful isn't true. Okay, myth number 7 is that homeschooling is a natural part of life, and that's just not necessarily true. It's a partial lie. So yes, the kids will learn fractions by doing cooking and sewing, and they may learn some zoology by going to the zoo. They'll learn some science by going to the zoo, but it needs to be thoughtful. You need to be proactive. You need to be intentional. You need to plan your homeschool year. The fact that you just sit down and you say, oh, we did cooking today and that was our math, isn't really true to homeschooling. You're just taking a casual, easy way out. Now, have I done that? Yes. Do mothers do that sometimes? Yes. But the idea that homeschooling doesn't need to be so stiff or so practical and book oriented is a bit of a lie, because you do need to teach your kids. They do need to learn math. They do need to learn their how to read and how to do and understand science. And so there does need to be a heavier academic brought in. Okay, homeschool lie number 8 is that homeschool kids miss out on opportunities. That is a twist of words. So the truth is, yes, they miss out of opportunities, but public school kids miss out of opportunities too that homeschool kids get. So it's not missed opportunities. The better word would be different opportunities. Way back in the day when my kids were little, I went to a conference and I was talking to this young mom, and she was homeschooled all the way through, and I asked her, do you feel like you missed out? Because I was struggling with it myself, that inner turmoil as a homeschool mom. And I was asking her, do you feel like you missed out? And she was like, no, I just had different experiences. They weren't better, they weren't worse, they were just different. So the idea that homeschoolers miss out on proms and social events and the STEM all the different things is just that they get different experiences. So the fact that they miss out is a lie. The truth is they get different experiences. So number 9 is the fact that I've heard this, I don't know how many times I've heard it a lot, that homeschool kids won't be ready for life because they've lived in a cocoon and they won't be ready to go out into the real world. Not true. I have 6 kids. 4 of them have officially launched and gone off and done their own thing, and they've done fine. They acclimated into culture, society, they got jobs, they did amazing, more than I could have dreamt. And so it really depends on you as a mom, how you've prepared your kids and how you've equipped them to be able to be prepared to do what's ready in life. It has less to do with homeschooling and more to do with the family dynamics. So we're to the last homeschooling and myth, and this is a big one that you hear a lot. So the myth that homeschool kids aren't as academic as other kids, and that is so not true, and research is now backing us up to bring value and truth to that. So homeschool kids, because it's been on the rise and we have more research, that they actually have a higher rate of finishing college, they actually have higher testing going in. And I think what once used to be kind of on the edge is now bringing a whole new movement. And so more kids that enter the college and enter the workforce that are homeschooled and that are more equipped and ready, that mentality that they're not as wise or they're not as smart or they're not as academic is really a myth, and it's a flat out lie, because our homeschool kids really are wise. So they are prepared, they are ready. So if you've battled any of these myths or you've heard any of these lies, I want to encourage you and I want to equip you to look for the truth, because so often as a homeschooling mom, we hear these lies and we kind of get sucked into this whirlwind and we start listening to it and we start doubting what God called us to do. And I don't want you to do that. So my hope is, my prayer is, my encouragement is don't believe the lies. Speak truth towards them and know that God has called you and what you're doing is the best thing for your family. So as always, stay intentional, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.